How do fantasy playoff buys work in sports leagues? In the world of fantasy football, playoff buys are a hot topic right now. With the fantasy playoffs just around the corner, many players are curious about how these buys can impact their teams. Understanding how buys function in real sports can really help you make better decisions for your fantasy roster. In the National Football League, teams that earn a bye week during the playoffs get a week off. This means they do not play any games that week, which can affect fantasy scoring. Players from those teams will not accumulate points while resting. However, in fantasy football leagues, the idea of buys plays out differently. It is more about managing player availability throughout the regular season. If a team has a bye week when you are counting on them for points, it can be a real challenge. You need to adjust your lineup to ensure you have enough active players to compete effectively. During the fantasy playoffs, which usually follow the National Football League's postseason schedule, there are no buys like in real life. Instead, players compete against each other based on their roster's performance each week. The key is to have a strong lineup without relying on players who are on an actual bye week. When setting your lineups for the fantasy playoffs, it is important to consider the bye weeks of your players. This means having a balanced roster with players from different teams to minimize the impact of real-life buys. You also need to stay flexible and ready to make changes based on injuries or other factors that could affect your lineup. With the playoffs approaching, now is the time to assess your roster. Look at which players have upcoming bye weeks and plan accordingly. Make sure you have enough depth to cover those gaps. This will help you maintain consistent scoring throughout the fantasy postseason. As the excitement builds for the playoffs, being mindful of bye weeks can make a big difference in your success. Stay informed and keep your roster balanced to give yourself the best chance at victory.